This is just a short video explaining how I do my water changes in my large turtle tank. This will have relevance to anyone who has seen the other videos and who may have had questions regarding maintenance on this tank. Tank is quite large and it has turtles, fish, ghost shrimp, and I prefer to do my water changes from the sump rather than the tank so I don't disturb the turtles or the fish. All I do is shut off the sump pumps. There's two of them, one there and one there. The large pump in the middle is used to drain the sump. So once I've turned off the sump pump so that water is no longer circulating through the tank and the filter, I then turn on the drain pump, which drains water out that fixture right there, to which I attach a hose which leads to outside. And I drain about 30 gallons of water from the sump. Then I turn the pump off. I hook the other end of the hose up to a spigot outside and turn on the water, and the water flows backwards through the pump and fills the sump back up, and I'm all done. All I have to do is turn the sump pumps back on and everything's back in operation. The other thing that I do is change the filter media. You see that white filter pad there? Change that when I do the water changes. It's disposable media. I only use it once and throw it away. The mesh guards you see there are for catching ghost shrimp that sometimes go down the overflows and fall into the filter media. They would otherwise die in there, so by keeping them trapped in those mesh guards, they're constantly being coated or covered with water, and when I check a couple times a day, if I see one, I can rescue it and put it back in the tank. The other thing that I do is keep this reservoir topped off, this reservoir that sits right next to the sump. What happens over time, of course, is that there's evaporation, but in a wet-dry trickle filter, the evaporation is seen not in the tank, but in the sump. So there's an automatic top-off device called an ATO right there, which monitors the level of the water in the sump, and as it drops, it turns on a small pump in the reservoir, and water is moved from the reservoir over to the sump. This eliminates having to constantly top off the sump on a daily basis, and is particularly useful for going on vacations. Let's see if there's anything else I want to mention. I keep my heaters in the sump so I don't have to worry about the turtles touching them when they're hot, and they get very hot. Also, be sure you turn off your heaters before you ever drain the water. You could have a heater explode on you, so don't ever have a heater on that is not submerged completely in water. I think that's about it. By the way, I do my water changes twice a week, so that means changing 30 gallons of water plus the filter media 2 times a week. Other than that, I scrape off some algae from the sides of the tank. You can see little pieces of tape. I've marked the spots where I need to scrub away algae. I'm about to do a maintenance right now, which is... There's our big female mud turtle rummaging around back there. Here's a piece of tape, again marking a spot. And then down in here, these corner boxes, these mesh corner boxes protect the plumbing from the turtles. And what happens is water is constantly being drawn into this area from the overflow there, causing kind of a sucking action. And the debris starts to collect in these corners. And every couple weeks it gets fairly thick, and I'll siphon it out. I do not siphon the sand. And I'll do a separate video on that. And that's about it. I hope this was of some use to you folks who have had questions concerning how I do my maintenance.